start with you, though, because there was something Politico's chief political columnist wrote today that sort of made me smile, and I wanted to get your reaction to it. Roger Simons wrote, and I'll quote him, "There are 3 things Mitt Romney must do to win the first presidential debate on Wednesday. Unfortunately, nobody knows what they are." Do you know what they are?
I think it's going to be talking to the American people about how the middle class has been buried under the higher taxes, the higher regulations, and the, just the job-killing policies for the past 4 years, and how Mitt Romney can talk straight to the American people about how he has a plan to create jobs, specific things like in my home state of Virginia. He's going to allow us to have exploration offshore with energy so we can have good, high-paying jobs. That's something supported by Democrat senators like Mark Warner and Jim Webb in my home state of Virginia, and something this president has stopped. We're also going to get rid of those job-killing regulations that killed 1,200 jobs in the coal fields of Virginia and West Virginia and elsewhere. And we're also going to cut taxes on small businesses, cut taxes across the board, have a across-the-board tax cut instead of the promise that Barack Obama is going to increase taxes across the board, have the biggest tax increase in history on January 1st. And Mitt Romney understands that you have to have small business to grow these jobs. And that's the way we're going to invest in small businesses, take the job-killing Obamacare regulations that will crush small businesses, but then replace it with good policies that allow businesses to buy health insurance with what they need, buy it across state lines, have pre-existing conditions covered, but the kind of policies that they won't be bankrupt and fined. And 20 million people are expected by the administration's own calculations. 20 million people, I guess it was CBO that said it, will lose their coverage under Obamacare, and that's just not going to work for my state of Virginia.
I have to say, I hope he has your ability to go without taking a breath and have sentences that make sense. But Jen, let me ask you, because Barbara raised something really important when she talked about Mitt Romney wants to talk about his tax plan. I am sure that the president wants to talk about Mitt Romney's tax plan too, specifically that promise to cut taxes for everybody in a revenue-neutral way.
Well, look, I think the American people would love to hear Mitt Romney talk about his tax plan and share more details because, we saw in the New York Times this morning, well, this is a little unrelated, but I still want to touch on it, that, Mitt Romney has benefited financially from his own investments and the time he had at Bain. That's something he's been telling the American people something very different on. And when it comes to his own tax plan, he hasn't provided any specifics. The arithmetic just doesn't add up. Paul Ryan had the opportunity to speak to it this weekend and said he didn't have time to do that. So there are a lot of questions out there. We'd love to know how he's going to pay for a $5 trillion tax plan for millionaires and billionaires, and how he's not going to leave the burden on the middle class.
Barbara, let me